Police say they have their man in the murder of 4 University of Idaho students.
Police say they have their man. What's up, guys? True Crime King back on this Saturday. You know the True Crime King doesn't take a day off, right? Anyway, I just want to keep hammering home why I believe Kohberger is the man. And try and sway some of you that are on the fence. Well, I want you guys to come up with your own decision, right? I want you guys to think about, why would somebody be doing this, right? Would an innocent person be doing this? And if so, why would they be doing this? And I also want you to think, have you ever seen anybody do this before? Okay? So here we go.
We're taking a look at some of the biggest pieces of evidence laid out in the probable cause affidavit and seeing where the defense might be able to poke some holes.
And I know some of this, or all of this, is a couple months old, okay? But, you know, a lot of creators aren't talking about it anymore. And in my opinion, a lot of them are just making up bullcrap to try and just get views, okay? But that's not me. I stick with the facts. This is straight from the probable cause affidavit, okay? So these are the facts, okay? This is not me just making up stuff like some clowns do, okay?
Law and Crime Daily, covering court cases from coast to coast. Welcome everybody to Law and Crime Daily. I'm Jesse Weber. The man accused of stabbing 4 young college students to death is sitting behind bars in an Idaho jail. This as his public defender and prosecutors from Latah County prepare for what's sure to be a very long legal process. Since Kohberger's arrest in Pennsylvania a week ago and the release of the probable cause document on his return.
Yeah, so this is a week after Kohberger was arrested. So this was from December or late November of last year.
Return to Idaho, we have learned more about the investigation into the quadruple murder. Law enforcement sources told CNN that the Hyundai Elantra that Kohberger was driving was cleaned from top to bottom by the suspect.
Okay, now real quick. Cleaned from top to bottom by Bryan Kohberger, okay? Remember, he had a month before the cops arrested him, and almost a month before they were even on his trail, okay? So he had plenty of time to get rid of any evidence that was in that car, okay? Hence, he had time to get rid of the knife, okay? And, well, we'll get into it.
During surveillance of his parents' in Pennsylvania home and Kohberger's movements, sources told the media outlet that the 28-year-old doctoral student was seen wearing surgical gloves.
Now pause. He was wearing surgical gloves. Now I want you guys to think about this. When anybody was cleaning their car out, their own personal vehicle, okay, just a normal, take some trash out, he's wearing surgical gloves, okay? Not just some random gloves. The surgical gloves. Like, what the hell? To clean your own car, right? Now, I could maybe see that if it's some disgusting old somebody else's car, okay? But your own car? I mean, you obviously you're not going to think that your own person is that disgusting that you have to wear surgical gloves, right? That's my opinion. I want to know what you guys think, right? My opinion is he knew he didn't want to get any more DNA on the car. He wanted to remove all DNA from the car, okay? So, and especially where, he knows where he wants his DNA, where he doesn't, right? So, of course, he's going to put the gloves on. He probably knew there was other DNA in there. Like I said before, the trunk theory, okay? His shower curtain was missing. He could have taken the shower curtain from his apartment, placed it in his trunk, okay? Had to change the clothes after the murders, just took off his outer layers, threw them onto the shower curtain that was in the trunk, threw everything, the murder weapon, everything, onto the shower curtain, right? There would be minimal DNA. I mean, think about it, right? I mean, he's not stupid. He's not just going to throw everything in his car randomly, right? And he's not just going to get into his car that has blood, that possibly has blood, and these four students' DNA on them. He's not just going to get it all over the place, right? That's what a normal person that's not trying to get caught would do, right?
Investigators believe Kohberger killed Kaylee Gonsalves, Madison Mogan, Zainer Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin inside of a rented home not far from the University of Idaho campus.
And, okay, investigators believe this. Obviously. That's why he's arrested, okay? You don't see anything in the probable cause affidavit about some cult, right? Or, in fact, you don't see anything anywhere, any evidence at all that points to anybody else. Nothing. Not one shred of anything anywhere that points to anybody else that could have committed this murder except for Bryan Kohberger. Okay? That's what I want to drill into your guys' heads. And those of you that don't think Kohberger committed this murder, who did it then? Right? Where's your evidence that supports that Kohberger is innocent? I mean, come on. Or if he's innocent, who did it then? Right? Come on. You can't just say, I don't think he did it. Well, who do you think did it then? Right? And then you have to have some facts to back up that. The police, remember, there's a gag order, so they can't talk about it. They're not being sneaky, guys. Okay? They just legally cannot talk about the case. That's not being sneaky. That's not hiding evidence. That's not hiding anything. That's following the law. Okay? It's following what the judge said. Okay? The judge made the gag order. Okay? That's it. Nobody can talk about this case that's involved with the case until trial. That's the bottom line.
At the time of the murders, Kohberger was studying at Washington State University, which is just a few miles away from the crime scene. When the semester was over, he and his father took a road trip across the United States in that very Hyundai Elantra back to Pennsylvania. I'm joined by my co-host.
Real quick, so you can see here when he got pulled over driving with his father across the country to Pennsylvania, the outside of his car is dirty, right? So I can understand why he wants to wash the outside of his car, right? But he was seen cleaning the inside, everywhere, with surgical gloves, right? Give me a break, right? That's just ridiculous. You don't need surgical gloves to just clean out. I mean, what is he doing? Just picking up some trash? I mean, obviously, from this, when the body cam with the cop looks in his car, there's not piles of disgusting trash or dead animals in there, okay? So there would be no reason to wear surgical gloves to clean out this car, unless you didn't want your DNA or more DNA on the car because you know you did something wrong, like commit a quadruple homicide, okay?
The legal analyst, public defender Bryan Buckmeyer, former trial attorney Terry Austin. All three of us have had a chance to look over this affidavit, and while there is a lot of evidence against Kohberger, it's not as airtight as people might think. Bryan, you're a defense attorney. Where do you see the problems?
Okay, real quick. So there's a lot of evidence, even with the gag order against Kohberger,
but it's not as airtight. That's what he said. So let's see why. Here we go.
I'll start with the first one. The pinging of the phone associated with Kohberger is strong evidence, but it isn't without holes, and the defense can argue. Using cell towers to track a suspect is a common practice amongst police officers and can be very helpful, but when you start digging a little deeper, doubt may grow. Whether it's reasonable is up for the jury to decide. Cell phone towers can have a radius of up to 25 miles. Many, especially in urban areas, can pinpoint a person's phone to a closer than a mile because there are so many towers in a given area. Kohberger's phone pinged off the towers that's in the area of the murders. That could be only maybe 5 to 10 miles radius or maybe less. And when the school is 7 to 8 miles away, that doesn't tell us much.
And you saw that map. I mean, come on. He does a complete circle from his house around, right around to King Road, and then boom, back. It's just ridiculous, right? Come on.
In terms of the path of the vehicle,
when you put all of this stuff together, it just fits, okay? If you look at it from a common sense perspective, a reasonable average person would say, that is very, in fact, too suspicious, right? I mean, give me a break. Come on, guys. He's cleaning his car with surgical gloves, right? Come on.
That's more art than science, as the officer himself said.
And there was a glove found outside of the Idaho house. I'm still working on that video. I'm just trying to get some more evidence. I don't have enough for a long enough video yet, so that's still coming.
Says he knows the path and he deduced which way it would go, but what if there are other roads? We know that people from the WSU also go to Moscow to party, so going there 12 times could have an innocent explanation.
Okay, yeah, it could have an innocent explanation, but Kohberger wasn't partying anywhere. Where was he partying? Nobody, not one witness anywhere, has said anything about seeing Kohberger at any kind of parties. Kohberger was a recluse. He didn't go out anywhere. We do have people saying that, right? Where was he partying, right? He wasn't. He was stalking, right? That's what I believe he was doing. That's what, obviously, the police believe he was doing, okay?
You know what, Bryan, I actually think the cell phone data, coupled with the video footage of the white Elantra, is plenty to convince a jury that Kohberger is the killer.
Yeah, not only that, plus the DNA on the knife sheath, right? Hello? And it's not anybody else's, it's not his father's DNA. It's Kohberger, Bryan Kohberger's DNA underneath the button of the knife sheath. It's not touch DNA. They have his cheek swab. It's 100% DNA. It's Kohberger's DNA. I need to drill that into your guys' head. Some of you are still saying, for some reason, it's touch DNA, which you don't even know what touch DNA is. Look it up. It doesn't even matter anymore at this point because they have his cheek swab now. So that's out.
We know that Kohberger's phone was at his residence at 2:42 on December 13th, and then it traveled south. 5 minutes later, the phone stopped sending signals, meaning that it was either turned off or placed on airplane mode. The phone is then turned back on at 4:48 a.m.
So it magically turns back on or is turned off airplane mode at 4:48, right? Roughly a half hour after these murders are committed, right? That would give him plenty of time to leave the house, drive, even stop somewhere pre-planned, or even not pre-planned, and throw the knife or whatever he wanted into either a body of water or bury it, right? Or do whatever, or burn it, right? Or do whatever he did, right? Or give it to somebody. All those are possible explanations why the murder weapon has not been found. Very simple, right?
I just can't get over how some of these people, especially the guy that goes around saying that people hide their faces and all this crap, but then the guy that's saying all this hides his face and has makeup on himself. It's just ridiculous, in my opinion.
In addition to the cell phone evidence, the authorities have corroborating video of Kohberger's white Elantra at the scene of the crime beginning at 3:39 a.m. on the 13th.
They have his Kohberger's vehicle at the scene at 3:39. His vehicle.
The car was ultimately seen leaving the student residence at about 4:20 at a high speed of rate.
Oh, and then Kohberger's car was seen driving really fast away from the scene. Oh, 4:20, right, literally minutes after these murders were committed. And he was cleaning his car out with surgical gloves on and taking his trash out with gloves on. Have you seen anybody take their trash out just from the house to the end of the driveway with surgical gloves on? Let alone just washing it, right? Give me a break, guys. This is what I'm saying. Common sense and a reasonable person, when you put all this stuff together, it's just overwhelming. That is why Kohberger has been sitting in jail all this time, okay? That is why not one piece of evidence points to anybody else, okay? That is why he doesn't have an alibi, except he likes to drive around, and he was driving around near, he admits driving around doing nothing when the murders were occurring. That's exactly what somebody that committed the murders would say, because they don't have an alibi because they were committing the murders, right? That's why nobody in the whole world out of 7-8 billion people cannot place Kohberger anywhere, because he was committing the murders, okay? In my opinion. So I want you guys to think about all of this. Don't listen to clowns that just put out theories, okay? I'm giving you actual facts. All this stuff that I just said actually happened, okay? And I just want you guys to think about it and come up with your own theory, okay? Don't listen to me. Don't listen to clowns, okay? Think for yourself. Put all of this. Imagine if you were on the jury right now and you just had this. You just had this to go off of. You didn't even have what the gag order has that we don't know about yet, right? Which is there's probably, I guarantee you there's something in there that, boom, is the nail in the coffin, okay? That's why I can't wait for this trial, but, and to prove everybody wrong. Anyway, that are just throwing clickbait out there to try to, I don't know what their agenda is, to be quite frank with you. I mean, it just makes me mad when people just throw out random theories with no evidence to back that up. Creators. And you guys know who I'm talking about. Anyway, happy Saturday. Hope you guys liked it. If you did, smash the like button for me. Help me help this channel grow. And if you want to help support me, go to patreon.com/realtruecrimeking. And shout out to all my current Patreon members. Really appreciate it. You know who you are. Really appreciate you guys. And until next time, True Crime King out.